All right. Good morning, everybody. Technically, it is 12:02 a.m. and today's date is September the 11th, 2024. Welcome to the 411 Sports World Fantasy Football Show. I am Mr. 411, and yes, I am holding it down as the calculator is on vacation and he's enjoying his time. But never fear, Mr. 401 is here, and what we're going to do is get the information out. I know it's late, but there's reasons behind doing that. But as we always say, we want to get information out and do what we have to do for our people, and that's what we're going to do today. So basically, this episode going to give the give a review of week one, give you some studs and duds, give you some injury reports, and also waiver wire pickups. So that's what we'll cover tonight. Always, and as always, we thank you all for tuning in and welcome. Make sure you go to our YouTube page. That is 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. Also, go to our TikTok page. Type in Mr. That's Mister FOURONEONE. That's Mr. 411. And there it is right there, Mr. 411. You can scan that QR code. And what else you can do is go to Instagram and do the same thing. Mr. 411 on Instagram. Make sure you follow us there as well. Please follow us on our social media platforms. And as always, make sure you please do the same thing as far as going to YouTube. Type it in 411 Sports World Network on YouTube. All right. Here's a couple things that you can do to support 411 Sports World, and it doesn't cost you a thing. We'd like for you to obviously like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share because sharing is caring. But also, you can do a positive review. You can tell your friends and family. You can follow us on social media, engage on posts, give a shout out, and sign up for any type of newsletters, which goes back to tying into subscribing to pages. And look at that total, man. It's zero. So it doesn't cost a thing, just a little effort. And we definitely appreciate you. We appreciate all that you've done for us at this point and continue to help supporting what we're doing here on 411 Sports World. All right. We're going to dive into a couple of videos here. We're going to start off first with the Monday night matchup, the most recent game, and that was the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers, in victory, definitely had a surprise. So let's go ahead and get the video played out.
Jordan said after the game that he was told on Friday night he was going to start. When did Christian start feeling awry?
I never told Jordan he was going to start. Told him he had to be ready a bunch, but that might have been Bobby or somebody trying to pump him up. But I knew he was going to have to play a lot. I told him that he was going to have to. It wasn't going to be like usual. He was going to be a number two back that was splitting a lot of the time. But now he didn't know he for sure was doing that till today.
Had Christian have some sort of setback?
Very interesting. You heard the head coach there of the 49ers saying that he had informed running back Jordan Mason that he would have to play a lot on this upcoming Monday game. Jordan Mason was interviewed after the game, and he basically stated that he was told Friday night. And, of course, with the fantasy football world, this is upsetting because if he was told this Friday night, that a lot of fantasy managers would have been able to make adjustments. So we really don't like this, but this is what comes with drafting Christian McCaffrey. And so you have to keep an eye on Christian McCaffrey's injury history, but he's so good that you're going to draft him. And a lot of fantasy managers drafted him number one, and he's pretty much been ranked number one in most fantasy projections heading into the season. Now, Jordan Mason did have a good game against the New York Jets, as you can see here, 147 yards and a touchdown. For a player that you can basically just pick up off the waiver wire, this is the type of production. So you see the San Francisco 49ers, they can run the ball. So obviously, if they can do this with basically an unknown running back, then And then they have on the other end, they have a Christian McCaffrey on the other end of the spectrum that will give you these type of numbers here too. So basically, what we're saying here is that San Francisco 49ers, they have a good offensive line, they have a good system, and they're able to run the ball. So make sure that you have Mason on your roster. Uh, he's Jordan Mason. Okay, make sure you do that. He's probably not on anyone's roster. I mean, in anyone's waiver wire at this point, especially with that kind of performance on Monday night. All right. So you heard what the head coach had to say about it. Let's see what Jordan Mason had to say.
When did you find out that you'd be in the starting lineup?
That question right there is why I'm at. That's why I don't like really talking to media, because you say one thing wrong, and then I don't know. Just skip that question.
Oh, okay. He just said, just skip that question. Come on now. Just you said what you said. Just stick to it. It's too late. I mean, you already put it out there, and coach, your coach has to figure out a way to work around that. I prefer that he just do what he did. I mean, he already said that he was told Friday, so there's no need to try to backtrack it now. It's all good. You just do what you do. You're just doing what the coach wants you to do, which is step out there and perform when your name is called. And good job for you. All right. So, great job there for Jordan Mason. Congratulations to him and all the fantasy managers that have him on their roster. Because I definitely want him on mine. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the performances for week 1. Okay, we'll spin the block, and let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll roll from there. So just take a look at this video. All right, that's the spin around the block there with some of the highlights of week 1, and we'll dive a little deeper here. Uh, Anthony Richardson, the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, he's picking up just like he did in week 1 of last season. With the exception of not getting injured, he. This is the type of performance that we expect for Anthony Richardson. He is a super talent. He take care of his business in the air with his arm, and also he take care of business on the ground. So keep an eye on him as a total package. 212 yards, and then let's see, with 212 yards, and then he rushed for 46, 3 total touchdowns. I mean, that's the kind of production you want right there. Uh, Anthony Richardson is, in my opinion, a stud. Just gotta be mindful that he's still young, and he will make decisions that could lead to him getting injured. So just keep that in mind. But ride Mr. Richardson as long as you can. All right, next, let's talk about the Joe Mixon in Houston. Man, 33 opportunities. That's what you want. You want a back that gets the load, and he's obviously looking like he's a RB1. It looks like it's his job. 178 scrimmage yards. That's always a plus. And then whenever you can get a touchdown, obvious bonus. So Joe Mixon is off to a great start there in Houston. All right, another player off to a good start is the quarterback in Tampa Bay. Go figure. This quarterback was no longer wanted in Cleveland, and then the quarterback that they replaced him with in Cleveland is trash. And so Baker Mayfield, man, he has really stepped up in Tampa. 4 TD passes. It looks like he definitely has a connection with Mike Evans. But hey, Baker Mayfield, man, he is getting it on out there, and you have to keep an eye on Baker Mayfield. You may, if he's available in your leagues, you may want to scoop him up. Baker Mayfield getting the job done, and and look at what the Cleveland Browns have now with Deshaun Watson with that terrible play that he had in Week 1. Now, Jaden Daniels, the young man, he came out with a solid game. You gotta like the 88 yards rushing. All right, there was a couple of instances there where he took some hits, some shots, so he's going to have to get down. This has been the case in pro football with young quarterbacks that come into the league, especially ones who get on the field early. Just running the ball, which I'm fine with, but not getting down, not sliding, and doing those type of things to protect themselves in the beginning can lead to major injury. Jaden Daniels for his first game, not a bad performance there because the rushing yards kind of help make up for the lack of the passing yards. And that's a theme here. If you're noticing there's a lot of quarterbacks in week 1 that did not throw for over 200 yards. And that leads to a whole nother topic for a whole nother show about the, in my opinion, the mediocre quarterback play in the National Football League. All right. Now, let's talk about a wide receiver that I'm familiar with because I did draft him in one of my leagues, but Marvin Harrison Jr. Uh, off to a slow start this in week 1. Not many targets. I think he had about 3 targets, but there was a target that was really missed where it could have been an opportunity there for a game-winning touchdown. But Kyler Murray missed him, and as you can see right there, if you look at this graphic, the player at the 10-yard line in all white, he has that is Marvin Harrison Jr. He has his arm up. He is wide open. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, any quarterback, even the worst quarterback that you could think of, could make that throw right there for a touchdown. And Kyler Murray, if he saw it, he definitely would have been able to make that throw for a touchdown. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Uh, I'm sure they're looking at the same film. They'll make some adjustments. So don't give up on Marvin Harrison Jr. He's definitely proven that he's going to be a stud. It's all about the connection between him and Kyler Murray. Can Kyler Murray make sure he gets him the ball? On this play right here, boom, think about how many points that would have been. That's 12. That's another 12 points right there, automatic. Just right off the rip right there. Catch. If you're playing PPR plus the touchdown, plus it's about a 40-yard, 40-yard play or so. Man, that was huge right there. So let's see what they do down the line in Arizona. But don't give up on Marvin Harrison Jr. All right. Let's get into the studs and duds. And we'll get that up. Production team. All right. Look at some studs here. Saquon Barkley, Jaden Reed, Josh Allen. We talked about Baker Mayfield and Jaden Daniels. So Saquon Barkley, big game, fitting right in with the Eagles. It's giving you the rushing yards, giving you the receiving yards. He's scoring touchdowns, total of 3 touchdowns. Jaden Reed, 33 rushing yards, touchdown, four receptions for 138 and a touchdown in the air. So Jaden Reed is looking like he is the number 1 guy there in Green Bay. Now let's get to the dud list. Talked about Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Pittman Jr. Wow, just 4 receptions. Pierce is the one in Indianapolis for week 1 that had the big game. So keep an eye on that. Travis Kelce. This is a bit of a shocker here. 3 receptions, 30 yards. That's a very pedestrian output there. And Mark Andrews. So Kelce and Andrews have been perennially the 2 monsters at the tight end slot. If there was 2 tight ends that you could just depend on, and if you had to spend an early draft pick or spend a lot of your fab on that, or if you're doing one of those auction drafts, the money that you have available to do that, those will be the 2 tight ends that you would spend money on. But wow, look at this, man. Time is changing. I mean, these are pedestrian numbers here. These are numbers that you can get from a tight end that was undrafted in fantasy football. So Kelsey and Andrews got to see what's going on there. Can't really blame the quarterbacks because the quarterbacks did find receivers in their respective games. So not sure exactly what's going on there, but keep an eye on that because maybe over time, maybe it's time that they're starting to trend downward. So we'll keep an eye on Kelsey and keep an eye on Andrews down the line. And then in other league notes, let's look at some of the other players, some of the top players per position. So we just talked about Andrews and how low his production was. But on the flip side of that, Isaiah Likely was the unlikely choice right there for fantasy managers. But he ended up having a monster game and almost had another touchdown, but his toe was over the line. So if he was able to do some of that toe drag swag, you could add another reception, another touchdown to his total. So keep an eye on Likely because he just might likely be the one to make a difference for you. Alan Lazard over there at receiver. He had a decent, or a very good game if you think about it. The former Packer, so he's over there and he's teaming up with Aaron Rodgers, who's a former Packer. So Lazard, keep an eye on him. Special teams, the Bears. I mean, they got the job done. They basically won that game for Chicago in week one when they was hosting the Tennessee Titans. You have two touchdowns there, two INTs. You had block punt. You had a recovery, ran in for a touchdown. Like the Bears special teams, the Bears defense got the job done in week one. They literally won that game for for the Chicago Bears. It was special teams and defense. Offense was very off in game one. Again, top running backs. Keep an eye on J.K. Dobbins, all around type of back there. A Chain once again, all around game in the receiving category, and then Jordan Mason. We talked about him. He has to be on everybody's. He has to be on your roster. He's just gonna he's going to have opportunities here and there. So whenever those opportunities come up, you want to have Jordan Mason. Josh Allen, huge game. Mentioned him earlier. He's a do-it-all player right now in Buffalo. Until they sort out that receiver position, Josh Allen is going to just be your everything. He's basically prime Cam Newton, Josh Allen. All right, Detroit Lions. This is probably one of the most frustrating things for me because I have Jameer Gibbs in more than one league, and it's just the potential there of him. If you look at it, he can give you the receptions, the yardage from there. Plus, he's a proven runner. He's a very good running back. But that David Montgomery, he comes back and bites you from time to time. He bites me from time to time. And it's like, man, I don't know if I want to draft Gibbs next year because David Montgomery is just, he's a vulture. And he's coming in. He had a great possession, a drive in overtime. And that could have been Jameer Gibbs' numbers. But, hats off to David Montgomery for stepping up and doing his job and the coach believing in him. So you got to keep an eye on that. Now, Jameson Williams in Detroit, wow, watch out. I know that we're talking about St. Brown in Detroit, but Jameson Williams is looking like he can be this year's Puka Nakua. All right. So that's kind of a overview of what happened in week one. And now let's get into some injuries. So you heard I brought up the name Puka Nakua. I did that for a reason. Cooper Cup, by the way, let me spin it back real quick. Cooper Cup has never left. Man, this guy is a monster. He had 21 targets and basically just took over the game. And Matthew Stafford loves this guy. So again, let's get that back up. Look up in the top right-hand corner. Cooper Cup with the numbers that he had in that game against Detroit. Monster game. He had the rushing yards. He had the receptions. He had the receiving yards, and he scored. And again, I mentioned it, 21 targets. Somebody's looking at him. It's Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp is the man. He is the man. And now you add the injury to Puka Nacua. Man, whoever drafted Cooper Kupp, hats off to you. If you're a fantasy manager with Cooper Kupp on your roster, because you hit the jackpot. All right, let's look at Puka Nacua and see what this injury is all about.
Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua was carted off with a re-aggravation of a knee injury during Sunday Night Football. Let's break this down. Puka's initial injury was reported to be a bursitis in early August. These bursts are fluid-filled sacs that cushion the knee, and sometimes when the knee strikes the ground repetitively, these sacs can become inflamed. We can see his knee taking a hard impact during training camp on this play, and it's very possible he may have sustained a knee ligament injury here, which was underreported. Flash forward to Sunday night, there was a play where his knee slammed against a turf violently, and you can see here significant posterior translation of the tibia. When the knee slams against a turf like that, the femur continues its forward momentum, putting significant stress on one specific ligament. This guy right here, the posterior cruciate ligament. This ligament stretches and subsequently can cause a tear. After the initial play, he did try giving it a go, and the next time his knee slammed against a turf was his last. The average time out with a grade 2 PCL is 3 to 6 weeks. If a grade 3, it could take 3 to 9 months. In this video here, you do see a grade 3 sprain, and you can see how much posterior displacement this knee has. The great thing is, unless there's a complete rupture, the majority of these do not require surgery. It has a good blood supply, especially when compared to the ACL. Whenever you get this type of partial tear, the body will form scar tissue to build up the gap where the tear was, and this eventually will provide strength back to the ligament. Wishing Puka Nacua a safe and speedy recovery.
All right, we do wish Puka Nacua a speedy recovery. He was a breakout star last season, and he was on track to have a good season this year. And if it's 3 to 6 weeks, hey, that'll be good. So if you own Puka Nacua, you stash him, and you hit the waiver wire, fill the gaps until he returns. All right. In the meantime, if you have Cooper Kupp, congratulations to you, because you're about to get 10 plus reception every week. All right, here's some other injury notes. All right, you did see on that last one, Kirk Cousins. Once again, injury. Kirk Cousins did not have a good game in Atlanta for the opener. There's a lot of red flags there. He one of his interceptions, he was sandwiched, and as he made the throw, probably should have figured out something else to do with the ball. But nonetheless, Kirk Cousins is with a slow start there in Atlanta. All right, let's see what else is going on. We'll dive into a couple more of the injuries, and then from there, we will go to waiver wire pickup. All right, so just hold tight. We'll get all that information ready to go. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back in about a minute and a half.
Imagine a fulfilling career as an orthodontic assistant that is fast, affordable, and convenient, that provides the freedom you desire. Welcome to the School of Orthodontic Assisting. As Georgia's only in-person, hands-on education center for orthodontic assisting with over 40 years combined experience, we understand the constant demand for experienced orthodontic assistants. By not taking the steps to gain the necessary education and hands-on experience, you risk missing out on a life-changing opportunity and the chance to secure a financially stable future.
That's why we created the School of Orthodontic Assisting. Our 8-week comprehensive program is designed to fast-track your career, equipping you with the skills and knowledge needed to become a highly skilled orthodontic assistant.
Once you graduate, you will have the opportunity to enjoy a fulfilling career as an X-ray certified orthodontic assistant. If you're worried about fitting the program into your busy schedule, we've made it easy for you. Once accepted, you simply pick the dates that work best for you, and we'll take care of the rest. Enrollment is limited, so don't miss out on the opportunity to transform your life and career. Act now and secure your spot in our next class.
Visit our website at gasoa.net to learn more about our program and to apply. If you're already on the website, click the Apply Now button to start your enrollment process. It's time to stop searching and start building a successful career in orthodontics. Take control of your future by enrolling in the School of Orthodontic Assisting today and experience the hope and confidence that comes with pursuing your dream career.
And we're back. We definitely appreciate School of Orthodontic Assistant. Make sure you check them out. 2959 Georgia Highway 154, Building C, Suite A. That's in Noonan, Georgia. 30265 is the zip code. Phone number is 678-876-4474. And you can also reach them at info@gasoa.net, or you can go to the website at www.gasoa.net. The School of Orthodontic Assisting. Check them out. If that's the kind of field you want to be in, those are the people you need to get in contact with. And we thank them for supporting 401 Sports World. Let's dive into the injuries, and then we'll get into that waiver wire pickup. All right. Again, some of these injuries, we talked about Kirk Cousins. Look at Joe Burrow. Just keep an eye on Joe Burrow. Could be need some more help on that line, but just keep an eye on him because there's a lot of not sure if he's 100% back yet. He's not the Joe Burrow of old just yet, but keep an eye on that situation there in Cincinnati and that offensive line. J.K. Dobbins, I think he had a pretty good game. I think he's okay. He'll be fine to go. He'll be good to go, but keep an eye on that. But he's a comeback player of the year candidate. All right. For Rome Odunze, okay, the reports are saying the MCL, mild severity, so maybe a 2-week injury. Keep an eye on that. Jordan Love, 3 to 6 weeks. And usually for the average, it's anywhere between 2 to 4. I would think with him being a young player and a franchise player, they're going to probably be more cautious. So I would say it's going to be more between that 4 or 5 return. All right, 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even 6. But I definitely, if I was a Jordan Love owner, I'm putting him in my IR slot, and I'm going to just go ahead and figure that I'm going to miss half of the regular season of Jordan Love. All right, with that said, with injuries and all these different things that are occurring, you have to get to the waiver wire, and you need some players that every owner needs it, because the key to fantasy football is the draft initially, but most importantly is what you do throughout the season. The decision that you make as far as your starters, who you're benching, but more importantly, your waiver wire pickups. And so we're gonna give you a couple of players, a list of players that we believe that you should have an eye on and pick up. At least go take a look to see if they're available in your leagues. All right, Isaiah Likely, I would definitely recommend him. Jordan Mason, for sure. You already saw his performance this Monday night. All right. Rashid Shaheed, Calculator's big on him. Calculator's a Saints fan. Calculator keeps up with the New Orleans Saints 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So Shaheed, if he's available in your league, scoop him up ASAP. Put your bid in for him, scoop him up. Brandon Cooks, that's another good option there in Dallas. Obviously, we know that CeeDee Lamb is the wide receiver 1, but Brandon Cooks is looking good there in Dallas, and Dak Prescott is going to be an efficient quarterback. And he's going to spread it out. So maybe Cooks will be that beneficiary of the attention that Lamb is getting from defenses. Bucky Irvin in Tampa, that's another player. If he's available, make sure he's on your roster. Uh, and let's see, Marshawn Lloyd and also Mitchell in Indianapolis. If you're needing help at the wide receiver position in a deep league, keep an eye on Mitchell. Same thing for running back, Marshawn Lloyd. If you're in one of those deep leagues, 14 plus teams, uh, 3 running back leagues, some with things like that, and you need depth at running back, you want to go real deep. Marshawn Lloyd will be one of those players as well. All right, that's really everything that we have for tonight. Thank everybody for bearing with us. We get the information out the best way we can. Uh, I Mr. 41 is under the weather a little bit. Mr. 41 is a little tired because I did go to the Atlanta Dream game. Was able to go with a group, and we had a good time. But it did, in order for that to happen, it had to be a lot of things that go on throughout the day, and so it's been a long day. But couldn't leave you guys hanging. Had to give you our fantasy football information because we promised that we would do it weekly, and we're going to get it out there one way or another to everybody. Again, please press the like button, the subscribe, the notification bell, and share because sharing is caring. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Mr. 411. Same thing on Instagram, Mr. 411. And also on YouTube, make sure you go to YouTube. Make sure you type in 411 Sports World Network, and that's on YouTube. Make sure you type in 411 Sports World Network on YouTube, and you'll find us there. We appreciate everybody. Thanks for hanging there with us. You can watch this episode anytime. Make sure you do that. Make sure you share it. Have a great one, and we'll catch you next week.